Firstly, I'd like to thank Pete and Joe. This place that we're here today, it meant a lot to my dad. A few weeks ago, he kept telling me, "You got to go to Hawley's. You got to go to." I'm going, "Who? Hawley's? Hooly Dooly? Who? Peter Hall." So thank you. This is more than I ever imagined. Glenn also said that he smiled when we told him that his send-off would be going to be here. I met Kev on the first day of my life. He was quite a young dad, but I know he was so very proud when I came along. As a child, I remember my dad would be the only adult that would stop his conversation with the other adults that would be towering above me, and he'd give me his full attention. I would ask him a question, and I'd often get a complex response, usually in his extreme crossword knowledge. He would speak to me as if I'm a grown-up, which usually meant I had no idea what he was talking about as a kid, but I appreciated it, and he made me feel very special. He would often take me camping as a kid. We spent time together driving through the country, sleeping under the stars, and I'd listen to his guitar. We'd often be on the train to Ballarat or coming back to Adelaide, guitar in one hand, young blonde child in the other. Yes, I had a hippie rock star as a dad. And to add to this legendary figure, Kev decided to become a clown. And his friend, I remember his friend Ziffo was already doing magic, and Kev told it was quite a lucrative business to blow balloons and do card tricks. I remember them having the conversation. I just thought, okay, what's going on here? But his business, the Performers Network, was born. I remember finding it fun as a child. My dad and his friends, or should I say colleagues, would dress up as a clown, and they'd go to the city to busk or to kids' parties. And I would boast about my dad, and I'd often tell people about my dad being a clown, or about his pink Beetle that he used to pick me up from school in, or when he used to drive the pink party bus around the Adelaide Hills. And it never got old, and the legend of Shakey lives on. It seems that Ceduna is a place where people come for a month or two, and they stay forever. And Shakey certainly fits that category. I went away, and when I came back, he took a job in Nundroo. He told me stories about the Wild West, about the music he was creating, and the friends he was making. He told me stories about the tourists, the bike riders, the locals, and the landscape, and about many of you here today. And the stories never seemed to end, and the fun never seemed to end for you guys out here, and I realised that he'd found home. I think about my dad, and I think about how lucky he was to have so many friends in his life, and he always attracted good people, and he'd often tell me how blessed he was and being surrounded by such quality people. Eddie and Tanya, I'd like to thank you for doing so much for Shakey over the past few months. I heard about your jams and about you going camping, and I love the fact that he was doing what he wanted to do up until the very end. He was still playing his music, he was still, getting out into nature, and that really means a lot. Susie and Glenn, your support for Shakey and of us through these times, this past, it's been remarkable, and we can't thank you enough. Kev was a simple, truly simple man. He enjoyed the effortless things in life. He was happy with his guitar, and let's face it, we all know he was a bloody musical genius. He was happy under the stars. He was happy with a sparkling ale in his hand, a good yarn, a good time, and a good joke. And that is what we're celebrating here today. We thank each and every one of you. These last few months, Kev never complained. the only thing he wanted to do was come home. And meeting all of you here today and seeing where we are and this beautiful place, it makes it totally clear that this is what he wanted. And I'm glad that he got to come home to Ceduna. I will always be proud to have such a bloody legend of a dad. Here's to Shakey. I'd like to sing a couple of verses from Blueberry Hill, because this is a song that my dad and I used to sing, and I remember singing it with him as a kid. So I'm just going to do a couple of verses. I found my thrill on Blueberry Hill, on Blueberry Hill, when I found you. The moon stood still on Blueberry Hill and lingered until my dream came true. Oh, the wind and the sweet melody, oh yeah, oh, but all of the vows we made were never to be, though we're apart, you're part of me still. For you were my thrill, oh yeah, on Blueberry Hill. Thank you guys.